Ever since I was a little kid, I was infatuated with G.I. Joe. I used to watch it on Saturday morning cartoons and after school. Today's video, I'm actually going to continue the series that I've been doing for the past 2 years, creating and printing and painting these G.I. Joe characters. And in today's video, we have the Baroness. Now this model I did find on CG Trader. The artist, I have to give him credit, is Jan H. And this is an older model, but I did confirm that it is still available over on CG Trader right now. And I will post a link below in the description along with a link to my Patreon as well. So I've already made a couple of videos of Cobra Commander, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow that were modeled by Megs Empanado over the past 2 years. And it's been a while since I've done one, and I really wanted to continue the line. So I'm doing Baroness today. I'm also continuing this line in my Patreon. I have already released a couple of G.I. Joe characters such as Major Blood, Serpentor, and Scarlet from the G.I. Joe series. And if you join the Patreon on the $10 tier, you can continue getting these models as well. And what printer am I using on these guys? I'm using the Uniformation GK2 and the Lynette deck. Let's check them out. So I have my Lynette deck down here along with the Frozen Sonic Mega 8K and the M3 Max. As you can see, these are my biggest printers that I've got here, but I get more enjoyment and more usage out of my Uniformation GK2. And as you can see in the background here, I print a lot. Bench, we've got the Baroness from G.I. Joe, and I've got it all printed out here, getting ready for prep and paint, or prep and primer. And some of the things I'm going to do is get rid of some of the little support divots here, and I'm going to freshen up the head here a little bit. There's some issues with that come out in printing. You see that where the hair is broken right there. So I'm going to fix all that up. And right off the bat, I've already screwed up. I put the glasses on the face before I actually did the face, so I'm going to have to work around that. So I've had a lot of people ask me about some of the tools that I use to prep my models and do just general work. As you can see, I got a lot of the little parts here to sand off, and you can't really get in there with sandpaper. So I actually bought one of these little Dremel tools right here. I've got a link for it in the description. These are perfectly great just to get into there and sand some of that stuff down. It comes with different attachments and so on and so forth. And for the rest of it, I'll just use sandpaper. And but this helps with the prep a lot. So after a little bit of dremeling, a little bit of sanding, and I actually had to take off the glasses. They were too broken up, and I polished this with my G tool. It looks kind of rough right now, but once I add some primer, clean it off real good once more, and everything will be fine. But all the prepping is done. Now to dust it off real good, put some primer on it. So my choice for primer that I'm going to use on this is this Krylon Color Max black primer. I'm just going to go ahead and coat it down. I usually primer outside, that way I don't get overspray all over the place. And so far, this is probably the best rattle can primer that I've used. So now that we've got everything in primer, the first thing I'm going to do is paint the giant Cobra base here. And I'm just going to use a basic Vallejo flat red. So now that we got a good red base on here, I'm actually going to use a gloss. So we got a nice gloss finish on this. This is like 2 coats here. I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to the body and the portrait. So with the head, I'm going to do a little something different here, since it's just the skin tone here on the face. And I'm doing on a black primer. I'm going to use this purple as a base coat here, and then put the skin tone over the top of it, so that way it actually has a little bit more of a natural shading to it. And the next thing I'm going to do is use the basic skin tone from Vallejo over the top of this. And now I'm going to take a little bit of a darker tone that I mixed up personally and go up underneath and shoot up under the shadows here. And then the next thing what I'll do is I'll shoot a little pinkish skin tone up underneath here on the cheeks and underneath the chin. And the next thing we're going to do are the eyes here. So we got everything painted in, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to seal it with a flat Color Max sealer from Krylon, and then I'm going to actually put some eyeshadow into the eyes and a little bit of blush on here. So next I'm going to take this gray blue here, and I'm going to just put just a couple of dabs in here and water it down really well. And I'm going to almost make it into like a glaze form. So that way I'm going to go ahead and put some eyeshadow up here on the top of the eyes. So now on the body, I'm going to use a little bit of this gunmetal blue here to do a little bit of highlighting here. This is a little bit of an armor, but my main purpose of doing this is to give it just a little bit of a contrast to it and break up the monotony of the black here. So I'm going to basically kind of come in at an angle and spray a little bit on there, and then I'm going to do some accents on some of the armor here, and then we're going to paint the straps and everything else on it. And I will be using this blue-gray here to do some of the straps and the holster onto the gun. This will help break up the monotony within the black and give it a nice little bit of contrast. And then this gunmetal blue here will look good on the accents of the armor and to do some little bit of highlights. And the hardest part of this model was freehanding these Cobra emblems here. I had 3 of them. This was a huge pain and undertaking to do. I do not wish to do it again. And I use this rich gold here to do the belt buckles and accents on the belt itself. And well, as well as the snake knife on the leg here. And I topped it off with a dark wash to kind of give it a little bit of character and a little bit of depth. And this 2-part 5-minute epoxy is my secret weapon when it comes to holding my models together. Instead of using super glue, I use this, and I never have to worry about the model not holding and not lasting over time. This stuff is absolutely perfect for these applications and these models. Look at that, fits like a glove. And I use this gloss varnish here to get the wet look onto the suit that's not part of the armor. And this model is just about finished. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video and got something out of it. As you can see, I still have a lot of projects here that I'm working on, and I do want to thank my Patreon members because without them, these projects wouldn't be possible. And I always got something in the works here. I've got a lot of projects from my Patreon that I'm working on, and again, that link is below in the description over there. And don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, everybody, stay safe out there. Don't forget, get out and create something. Print, prep, paint, repeat. And until the next video, we'll see you. So now do you want to see one from my Patreon? Check this guy out. Oh yeah, we've got Serpentor in the house. This one is massive with his air chariot. This is one that I'm going to be working on next. Stay tuned.